Please. Oh, I forgot to bring the damn soap. Okay. Rudy, put it in your memory. When you go home, separate the soap and put it on the living room table so you don't forget it.
Yeah, this is gonna work.
That's the only way it's gonna work because it's in the closet. I keep forgetting to go in the closet and get it out. It's a closet I don't go in very often. But yeah, this soap. In fact, I used some yesterday. So I was on the NASA website last night.
Uh huh.
Aliens are on their way.
Why?
NASA has never done this before. One of their main engineers said that it's a high probability that there's a alien mothership in our solar system sending out probes to different planets. They saw it when it passed the sun. There's a picture of it. It's like a wheel with something inside of it, and it went past the sun. And I'm like, look at this shit. It's crazy, huh?
Well, I mean, you know what the hardest part about space travel is?
I don't know.
We're constantly fucking moving.
Yeah.
The sun's doing
Everything
this
is moving.
around the thing, and we're moving around the fucking.
We're going
place.
189,000 miles an hour.
Could you imagine it trying to land on a rock? Like, think about it. Just from the outside, like, it'd be like trying to jump on a fucking train that's going a million miles.
Well,
an hour.
for us, with our technology, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they don't have our technology.
Obviously. Well,
Way.
they probably do have our
Because if they
technology.
got something that can come to us that's a mothership, who knows what else they got?
Maybe there are species like us that ruined their planet, and they're looking for. They don't know that we're here, and they're like.
They know we're here because we send out too much
No, I get it.
with
But,
radio waves and television waves, so they know we're here.
yeah, but from the fucking the vastness of space, that
But
could
the-
definitely be
Well, and
misinterpreted somewhere else.
the radio and television waves they're getting are from the 50s, not from today. They're from the 50s. Just like when we see stuff in deep space, like we just found a whole bunch of new galaxies and shit with that James Webb thing. But the point is, we're seeing these galaxies 150,000 years ago. The light.
Yeah.
So they could be blown up by now. They could be gone away by now. We don't know. See, that's why I say time has really no real deal. Time really doesn't really exist.
No.
I mean, not really. And we have time because people have to get up at a certain time and go to work and come home.
We have time because the bodies we're in are limited.
The what?
The vessels.
No.
The vessels are
Look
limited.
how many thousands of years they went without time. Look at how many thousands of years they went and nobody had time.
Everyone had time.
No.
Even the fucking again, you had to know the seasons.
Seasons.
If you were a fucking, which is time.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is.
No, it's seasons. It's not time. It's just the seasons.
Again, which is just another form of measuring the time it takes from one time to another.
You said a key word there, measuring. You said a very key word when you said measuring.
See, all right. Hold on. First off, it's gonna be a quick episode because I still have to work. But second off, can you go use your multiple fucking accounts and sign up for fucking Smoke Jam?
You talking to me?
I'm talking to the people on here.
Okay.
Use your multiple accounts and give me multiple subscribers on Smoke Jam so I can fucking start going live. We can start going live on that. But I don't know. The whole free speech thing, I don't know. I'm really sick of the people bitching about it. I'm sick of hearing them talk because it seems to me that they never shut the fuck up, and supposedly their speech has been impacted somehow.
Who are you talking about?
free speech absolutists.
Oh.
People who are like, you can't stop people from saying anything, even if it's something stupid.
That's what's wrong with that whole premise, that free speech premise. See, our problem is the Constitution was written a long time ago, and things that applied back then, they don't apply here no more. We need amendments to the Constitution
True.
to bring it up to date. George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Franklin, they had no idea what was coming. They didn't have the slightest little teeny idea what was coming.
We don't have any idea what's coming.
We got a better idea than they did. Yeah, you're right. We don't have an idea. We don't have the best idea, but we have a better idea than they had because they didn't have any technology back then. What was the biggest technology? What was the cotton gin? That was the biggest technology they had back then.
They didn't even have the hemp gin yet.
So, and then all of them had slaves. All the ones that signed the Constitution signed their names.
There's some that didn't.
No, all of them had slaves. That's how they made their money. George Washington had 300 slaves.
I know George Washington.
And they charged a tax. I think it was in Virginia. He didn't want to pay it, so every few months he would take all his slaves to Pennsylvania until the tax time was over. Then he'd bring them back. No, that's how all of those guys back then, that's how they made their money, man. They had big farms, cotton farms and shit like that. They weren't picking cotton. I'm sure of that. And 300 slaves. That's a lot of people, man. That's how they could build houses and shit. They had a workforce that didn't have to pay. That's why reparations should be a matter of fact, not fiction. Those people died building. In fact, they built Washington, D.C., man. Slaves built some of the biggest buildings in Washington, D.C. Because our capital used to be in Pennsylvania, I believe.
Hold on, I gotta switch to chat. What? Alright, hold on. No, who will get support? I don't want you to. Who says anything about repealing the First Amendment?
No, I didn't.
George Washington had white slaves too. Okay.
Well, they were indentured, yeah, but they could work their way out.
No, the difference between indentured servants, white indentured servants, and slaves is your kids weren't indentured servants.
Yeah, and you could work your way out of slavery.
True.
Yeah. That was the difference.
Here's a link.
Link. What are we smoking? Deadhead?
No. It's I forget what the fuck you called it. Hit it again.
It's something that you forgot what it's called.
Yeah, Double O told me what it was called and I forgot what he said.
Oh, it's probably that one I hate.
What?
What the hell was the name of it? Yeah, that's what this is. I remember that taste. I didn't like it.
Pablo?
Pablo?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's nothing of ours.
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
It's like a.
It's got a little aftertaste.
It's like a
Here you go. I mean, it's not bad, but it ain't Deadhead or 18, that's for sure.
No.
Or Fuego, or Fago, or
There you go.
Fago. Which way did they go? Which way
Yeah,
did they go?
if you could sign into this website or this and give us a like with your multiple accounts, I'd really appreciate that. Oh, okay. Well, indentured servants, like you said. But
Don't get me wrong, there were rich black people that had slaves too.
I know. People had slaves back then. It wasn't excusable either.
Black slave owners usually, after a certain period, would let their slaves go. After a certain period of time, they had to put the time in, whatever that was. And some slaves didn't want to go.
Slaves in all but name.
Some slaves didn't want to go. They didn't have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And they knew that too.
Not that you could go get land or just leave.
Well, you know, Lincoln promised a mule and 40 acres, but the next president after, I think his name was Johnson,
Yeah, it's the vice president.
he
He basically said us,
he said, no, y'all can't have shit.
and he didn't. Lincoln was going to banish all of the Southern people who were in charge and never let them be in power again. It was going to be a big thing, and the other dude was a Southern sympathizer.
Exactly.
So when he got into power, he didn't do anything.
He didn't do
Power
anything.
structure stayed exactly the same.
And he cut off all of the different treaties that Lincoln had made. Lincoln. And back then, see, Lincoln was a Republican. That was Republicans, not Democrats.
I know he was, but because the Democrats flipped in the '60s,
Mm-hmm.
or sorry, the Republican, like the whole flip happened in the '60s.
Yep, early 60s.
Right.
Look at you with your big head. Look at you. Just look at you. Big old dude.
He was also just a rich dick that didn't really want to pay his fucking fair share in life
No.
and wanted everyone else to work for him.
No.
Hey, get down.
Get down.
Hazy.
Get down.
Hazy, get the fuck down now. Come here. Get over here.
She
Come
smells
here.
her dog, that's all. It's okay, man.
There's no need for that. Yeah, I know.
He smells like a dog, Daddy.
Go about your business. I don't really want that.
You what?
I don't really want that.
Yeah, give it to me. We don't really want that.
It's not like you haven't fucking. I mean, it wouldn't be too bad if I put fucking hash in there or something.
That would make a big difference. It's got a buzz. It's just a little aftertaste that I don't like. It's got a little teeny aftertaste. Yeah, dude.
So, I listened to a podcast or a book, like the Tesla. I don't know if they're going to be here in 5 years.
Who's gonna be here?
Tesla,
I don't either.
the way he keeps fucking, not even with Twitter, just,
Well, no, he'll be here. I don't know if the car thing will still be going on.
that's what I'm saying. Because now they have competition,
A lot of it.
and
A lot of it.
on top of that, like, they're not settling. Like, you know how car companies settle when they fuck something up? Well, he basically put out the autopilot as an autopilot, knowing it wasn't an autopilot, knowing it was just literally assisted driving. It wasn't even.
But my friend who had a Tesla told me in the literature, it tells you, in the literature, if you read the literature, which some people probably weren't doing, it tells you it is not a perfect
Yeah, I know.
thing. It tells you in the literature.
I know. In the literature, it tells you that. At the same time, this dude's on TV telling you it's not.
Well,
I mean, that right there is gonna break him.
he was.
Like how you can't go on TV and say that this thing's the future of car driving when it's literally just a test. You're literally using the public as a test zone.
Well, we'll find out.
Instead of actually paying for the test, he just put it out in the public and let the public.
He's going to end up
figure it.
settling out of court.
No, they won't. He says he's not going to. He doesn't believe he was in the wrong.
That's what they all say. All billionaires say the same thing.
We'll see.
I'm not settling out of court until they have to settle out of court. And then the people that he settled with will sign a non-disclosure, so you'll never really know the bottom line.
Yeah, but right now he's not settling. That's my point.
Yeah.
Usually, the point is usually you're right. Auto companies. That's why you haven't heard anything about Cadillac's fucking auto driver, assisted driving, fucking. You know,
But
GM has had it in the Cadillacs and the high class.
they sent me a brochure. They want me to buy a brand new Cadillac, and in the brochure it says that their assisted driving thing is just for you when you're on the highway, not on regular streets where it's stoplights and all that kind of stuff. They don't want you doing that then.
Yeah, because it's not. Because like the Waymo looks ugly, but it works. It can drive itself around and do everything it needs to do, but it looks like a fucking clown car.
Yeah.
And the Tesla
All that
is
shit.
So basically, you have GM and Chrysler, which are GM and Chrysler. GM, which is run by a fucking company that's basically taken its lumps in the courts throughout the years. I mean, they've gotten away with a lot of shit, but at the same time, they've also been sued and settled a lot.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in the 70s, they got sued a whole lot.
But they understood that their system is literally just for driving on the highways when you're doing 70 miles an hour. So it keeps you in your lane, and it can sense cars ahead and behind you. That's it. But that's all they say. Even the commercial where the guy's doing this, clapping, they don't do that anymore because Tesla has proven that you have to, when they first put out the Teslas, they didn't even have no way of knowing if you had your hands on the wheel.
Yeah, well, they got a camera showing what you're doing it, and if you're not
paying attention, if you're not supposedly paying attention,
it'll give you a warning.
Yeah, it'll especially if you let go of the.
I think the steering wheel vibrates.
Mm-hmm. If your eye contact gets distracted.
Yeah, they got a camera that's watching you all the time. At least it's supposed to be.
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
That's a lot better.
Yeah, I am mad about us being experimented with cars. I'm mad that they put some shit out and pretended like it was something it wasn't. I'm mad that there's no consequences for the dude literally doing this his whole fucking life. He's not really done anything that's special.
He's a billionaire.
He's a billionaire because he's fucked over a billion people.
They get away with shit all the time because they're billionaires, and they can long play you in courts, hoping that you run out of money.
Mad about these. What the fuck is the RNA? What are you talking about? No, give me a second. I gotta get the fuck up here to this long ass line about some shit I really don't want to talk about because I don't give a fuck about Washington and slaves.
Well, they don't talk about it.
Well, that's what he wants me to talk about, and I don't want to talk about it. There's no reason to talk about it. The dude had slaves. He wasn't a good person. Yeah. In today's standard, you would literally look at him and probably put him in jail.
Yeah.
But then again, you could just say that he's just an Elon Musk because Elon Musk does it too.
He doesn't own slaves. A billionaire.
But he definitely keeps people at a limit.
Elon Musk may not own slaves, but have you seen the mines for them to get that battery stuff?
The what? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. He probably does own
That's slaves. The same thing as slaves. I'm just saying, you understand what I'm saying? But that's attributed to all the phone companies. Anybody that's using battery technology.
Yeah, but again, he could do all this stuff, but he was still not a good person. I don't give a fuck what anybody says about Washington.
We've been brainwashed.
He won a revolutionary war because he didn't want to fucking listen to the people who were up.
We've been brainwashed to think that he's the father of the country. He's such a good guy. He wouldn't lie. And, all the myths. There's a bunch of myths,
Yeah, the motherfucker. He got people to fight his revolutionary war and then never paid him.
So we just been conditioned to think that Washington was a great guy. Well, there's been a lot of guys in history that weren't great guys.
So because he bowed to the rank. He let black people fight the war too, who were free or enslaved.
Thanks.
Because he couldn't because the reality was
they ran out of manpower.
Most of the people in the country didn't want to fight the fucking war.
They ran out of manpower.
Because most people weren't on his level.
Because they thought black people weren't intelligent enough to fight a war. So when they ran out of manpower, because
manpower means support.
Listen, the Civil War, I think over 50,000 motherfuckers died.
What does the Civil War have to do? He's talking about George Washington.
Yeah, I know.
That's a revolutionary.
I know, but it all leads up. It all leads up.
No, he's saying that George Washington let black people fight in the Revolutionary War, even if they were free or enslaved, because he couldn't find people to fight the war. There was a good portion of people who didn't give a shit about the things that were happening and were British. He was a rich dude he's like Elon Musk going to Texas and then fighting a war to separate Texas.
A lot of Americans back then still had an alliance with England. They didn't want to leave the king. They wanted to stay as
again, do I think you should have kings? No. I think they were right in the sense that they shouldn't have kings, but at the same time they thought of themselves as kings.
Well,
These people that
These
did
kings-
this shit were like, I'm the one that's. And again, he didn't take power. He only had it for 8 weeks. Nah. He knew that you shouldn't be the public figurehead because if you're the public figurehead, you're gonna get executed.
Eventually.
Yeah, you just be the dude who has everything over here and let the dude that's loud and do whatever, and then eventually he'll get executed. But you still have your shit and you're off doing your own thing. It's like Tupac said,
Well-
I'd rather be rich than famous. I don't want both.
But he had both.
Who did? That's my point. He didn't like it. He wished he was just rich without being famous. Because being rich and famous is two totally different things.
I mean, but that's a weird statement to make, though, when you think about it.
What?
He'd rather be rich than famous. It's kind of a strange statement to make when you're already famous and you're making that statement.
Because you understand that, again,
Okay, so either give the money away or stop making records.
okay, you can't be unfamous once you become famous.
Sure, you can.
Nah, it's pretty
You
difficult.
can leave and go live on a island in Java somewhere and not have a cell phone. Believe me, they'll forget about you after a certain period of time. We live in a 15-minute society.
At war's end, Washington demanded without success that the British respect the preliminary peace treaty, which he said required return of escaped slaves without exception.
Yep. That's true. That is very true. I told you, man, even after they freed the slaves, supposedly freed the slaves, you know.
Public statement on reining his commission addressing challenges facing Newfoundland made no explicit mention of slavery.
You know what we got
He
going
didn't
on?
have to mention it because
You
it
know
was
what we
just
got
part of
going
life.
on here? We got stuff like this going on the computer and getting information and then telling us about it.
No. From what I understand, he never freed his slaves, but his wife did. And there were talks that he talked about it, but he never did because again, it's the pressure of a man trying to maintain an image that's not real.
Well,
So again, was he a good guy at heart? Probably not. He didn't give you the right to vote. I mean, unless you own a house. If you own a house, you had the right to vote.
see, we don't know everything that went on back then. We don't know
We
what
have no idea.
we didn't know what was
We
happening.
only know what the winners say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't know what he did with this. We know he was fucking the women. We know that. They were raping the women. We know that for sure. Because they have babies.
So he said he spoke publicly about it and signed laws that protected slavery as well as laws that curtailed slavery. So in other words, he's just like today. He just wanted to. He was making money off of both.
He was making money hand over fist.
Yeah, dude was rich as fuck.
I mean, come on. 300 slaves?
That's a lot.
That's a lot of cotton.
That's
That's
a
a lot of buildings.
That's a lot of land.
A lot of, man, that guy was. All of them, though. All of them were like that. They all had slaves and farms, and maybe the one that had about the least of all of them probably would have been Ben Franklin. He probably had a little least in all of them, but he had some slaves. Hey, sweetie, I haven't seen you in a
He
while.
expressed moral aversion to selling some of his enslaved workers at public venue or splitting their families. Okay.
Yeah, okay. That
He was the president of the United States, and half the country wanted no, like part of the country wanted no slaves, part of them didn't.
only.
He was elected twice, wasn't he?
It was only. I don't know. I can't speak for sure on that. It was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it was only 8 states that wanted to continue with slavery. The rest of them didn't.
If yes, I've heard of the Monsanto family. There are 5 or 6 families that control everything: the Waltons, the Monsantos, the Rothschilds. They have control to destroy you or without even trying, without even a fucking basically you're a flea. Oh, I got a zit. Hey, oh, that's gonna suck. Or is that an ingrown hair? Ouch.
Yeah, I don't know how we got on
He
the
refused after the second election. So yeah, he was a politician. He was politicizing in a time when, because at that time there was a division and there was people who didn't want slavery and there was people who wanted it. So he was placating both sides. It sounds like. which sounds pretty much like every fucking politician now.
Okay, so how many years between Washington and Lincoln? How many presidents between Washington and Lincoln? I don't
Lincoln
know.
was the 16th president.
He was the 16th?
Yeah.
And Washington was the
first.
6th? No, he wasn't the first.
Yes, he was.
No,
Yes, he was. Don't fucking argue something like that. George Washington is the first fucking president. Yes, he is.
Check your history, you'll find out.
Daga, prove it.
Check your history.
I'm
You'll...
telling you, he's about to tell me that I'm right. It's Washington, Jefferson. I don't know who the
I
third
think there
one
were
is.
2 or 3 presidents before them, but they weren't
No.
elected presidents.
No. People wanted him to be king. He won because of the Revolutionary War. Oh, man, I gotta look it up myself, motherfucker. I don't have to look it up. This is fact, I know.
Just ask, was Washington the first president? It'll tell us.
No, I just list the presidents.
It was Washington, Adams, and Jefferson. Then
Yep.
Madison. And a big fuck you to that guy, 'cause all you do is Google it.
That exactly.
Well, he didn't get there.
He just got tired, that's all.
Keep going. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Washington, Adams, Jefferson. Yeah.
That's not right.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
How are you going to argue what's right here?
Because.
He's on the quarter for a reason.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you mean, yeah, okay? I'm confused on how you're going to argue. You sound like...
I don't have the text of what I seen and heard, so I can't really speak on it 100%. But there are some issues there about who was really the first president.
So there's conspiracies, in other words.
Maybe they are. I'm not sure if they're conspiracies or not.
Because the Revolutionary War ended. They wanted him to be the king, and he didn't want to be king. He wanted to be president. He ran 2 times, and he still...
Obama wasn't the first black president either.
What the fuck are you
Obama wasn't the
talking
first
about?
black president. Let me see if I can find this shit. I'm not sure.
Oh my goodness. What?
See, everything they tell you in school ain't right.
I
Some
didn't say
things-
that.
Some things are and some things aren't.
Yeah, but you think the president would be a simple thing? That'd be really hard to fucking hide.
What the fuck? I can't find it now.
No, I don't. A black man is not shown. I don't know nothing about no black. Signed. Who's John Hanson? It was Hancock is the one with the big signature, but I don't even know who signed. I don't.
The
know much
Declaration
about
of
it.
Independence?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
How many signatures on there? Is it 12 signatures on there?
Yeah.
John Hancock. I don't know them all.
Oh,
And
shit,
they don't
we're
use me
already-
even trying to name all of them because I
30
don't know.
minutes, motherfucker. God damn.
What?
We're already at 30 minutes.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a short one.
I did too, but we got to 30 minutes already. Without even trying.
You're right, because it seemed like 15 minutes to me. Where's that at?
Okay. So there's a theory the creator of the Illuminati looked like George Washington and then replaced him.
What?
Yeah, like the Illuminati,
Yeah.
which is, I don't know. But either way,
See, I don't know if the Illuminati is real or fictitious. We don't really know.
it's real, but they're out in the public.
But we don't know if they're real.
Yes, we do. We know that there's 5 companies that control our food. We know that these corporate, like,
Has
they're
anybody
all
came
right there.
Has anybody came out and said, yes, I'm in the Illuminati? And
Why?
No,
Again,
listen, wait a minute, hold it. The Illuminati could be a conspiracy as well. Because you know why? Because when I was younger, there was no Illuminati. Nobody talked about Illuminati. This just started, people started talking about Illuminati, I think, in the early, mid-'60s. Before then, you never heard Illuminati.
I mean,
So it could be, like I said, a conspiracy. It's possible. I mean, who's doing that? Who's drinking baby blood?
what the fuck? What are you talking about, baby blood?
That's what they say the Illuminati does, dude.
It was real, he said, in 1776. 1776, it was different. Because an Illuminati could happen. It could be a secret group of people.
There
like
probably
the
was.
revolutionary. Because there could have been separate factors of revolutionaries fighting at the same time during the Revolutionary War, and we didn't know about them because they all got murdered. You know what I'm saying? If you think about that, like, you know how there's multiple sects of terrorism and, like...
Okay, so how do the people in the Illuminati know when there's going to be a meeting? How do they know that? How do they know where to go and what to do when the time comes?
How would they know? You would just be secret text.
You know,
Code words and shit.
Texas don't work.
Is a name given to several groups, both real and fictitious.
Fictitious, yeah.
Historically, the name usually refers to the Bavarian Illuminati, an Enlightenment era secret society founded on May 1st, 1776 in Bavaria, today part of Germany. See, it's all old shit. It's all about them. Because again,
They say that
the government,
wait a minute.
basically, if you think about it, George Washington and all those guys were technically their own Illuminati.
But wait a minute.
Because they were conspiring against the king.
So Jay-Z's Illuminati?
No, that's just bullshit.
No, how can you say it's bullshit?
Again,
How can you say it's bullshit?
if in the theory that it's just a bunch of rich dudes, then you get to a certain point.
Well, they're saying
maybe
that
if you become a billionaire, you get to a point and they just tell you, hey.
Cat Williams and a couple of
I know.
of these guys have come out and said that they were approached to be in the Illuminati.
Again, that's not saying. I don't know. Why would you approach Cat Williams?
Because he's a millionaire.
I don't think that's...
You have to be a millionaire. You can't get in the Illuminati and not be a multimillionaire. It don't work that way.
You also probably have to be a sociopath that hates people. Because I'm sure most of the shit they do, if they're real, is to make sure that we keep suffering. Like, you pay... The whole reason you pay your employee shitty wages so that they never get to a point where they can leave you.
And you know what else? None of the real rich, big-time people are religious. None of them. Hey, sweetie. No, get down.
It was
Down.
about his influence, because Cat Williams has a bunch of influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. They want influential rich people to help spread their whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah, he probably shit worked.
But he ain't the only one that said that he was approached by them. Other millionaires have said it too. So I don't know how real it is or what.
All right. Well, I gotta get back to work.
All right, I gotta get back to home.
Check out Smoke Jam if you can. Sign up for it. I'll put it in the comments of the actual end piece, and then like and subscribe if you're.
Are y'all doing a smoke jam tonight?
Yeah.
What time y'all do?